We are live.
Live coming to you from the...
All right. We are live. Hopefully, our computer is chugging along, so hopefully it's working.
I have faith.
I have faith in it. So great.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we are live now. Our McDonald's commercial is live or whatever. Even though,
yeah, maybe we could just sort of fart around and cut this for the VOD.
Yeah.
Because this is ordinarily what would be the first of the live stream, right?
Yeah. Even though our channel is marked as we don't want to have ads, we still have ads.
Hey, look, there we are. We're alive.
We're awesome. So, welcome to our second interview show, Gaming with C21, hosted by Serious Play. We are a collaboratory out of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, which is our maternal figure is the Center for 21st Century Studies, and our Gaming with C21 series is all about getting to know people who work at C21 and their relationship with games and play and what they do for the center. So I'm going to read our land acknowledgement, and Ryan will post in our chat a couple of resource links, and then we'll get started talking about ourselves in the game. So we acknowledge that in Milwaukee, we live and work on traditional Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee homelands along the southwest shores of Michigami, part of North America's largest system of freshwater lakes, where the Milwaukee, Menominee, and Kinnickinnic rivers meet, and the people of Wisconsin's sovereign Anishinaabe, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Oneida, and Mohican nations remain present. And we're having some issues with
No worries.
Okay,
Keep going.
We're good. So that was our land acknowledgement. And once our computer likes us, we'll post in the chat some links to both the Indigenous Game Devs database, which is a database that contains talks from Indigenous game developers. It'll feature games and other things you can do to support Indigenous game devs. We also will have a link coming through the chat soon about Black game developers and games they made and how you can support them. All right, so we are gonna do our introductions now. Okay. So I'll go first. I'm David Kudzik. I'm a PhD student here in the English department. I guess I'm a PhD candidate now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And my work is about games and identity and transnational constructions of queer sexualities. So that is my stuff.
Okay.
Very cool.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a PhD candidate. I do games. I don't know how to follow that up.
And we are joined today by our special guest.
I'm Elaina Nelson, and I am in my second year of the Coordinated Public History and MLIS program, and I study public memorialization in queer spaces.
Cool stuff.
What is MLIS?
Masters of Library and Information Studies.
Cool.
So.
Awesome. It's great to have you with us today, because I feel like you're definitely... you represent, I think, a discipline that we've been sorely lacking in all of our collaborations. So welcome. This is awesome.
You get to choose our first stage. We're playing Smash Bros. Per Elena's request, so. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, we're gonna do. Oop. I guess we're doing WarioWare.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's totally okay.
I was just making sure my controller was on.
So I've got the DLC up through Byleth.
Where am I? Oh,
I'm doing my Young Link.
How am I player one?
I love Young Link, so I'm gonna start with him. I was a Zelda. I mean, I'm still a Zelda kid, so.
Oh, 100%, man.
I loved Rob too. Rob's great.
I sort of flex between Zelda and I mean Link and Mario.
All right. So we're gonna play a little bit. Why did you choose to play Smash Bros with us? Like, what's...
It has been like a decade since I played this game, and I went, oh yeah, I remember playing this and not doing so great. So we'll see.
Is it something that like you would play at parties?
Yeah.
Like usually in a really large? I mean,
More like
Like friends and
It's like a
things.
social game to me, I guess. So I was like, I think I can do this in pod.
Oh, don't move. There we go. So did you like grow up playing Smash Bros or?
No, actually. So growing up, we only had a Super Nintendo with the 3 Donkey Kong games.
oh, rad.
So
If you're gonna have 3 games,
Yeah,
those are
totally.
great games to have.
Totally.
I jump.
Or you, Link.
Yeah, I'm just jumping around.
But so you only had the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, so we just had Super Nintendo. My parents were very anti-games. When we were growing up, we were like, no, this is going to be a distraction, and obviously it was to a degree. My grandma was like, oh no, I'm just buying Donkey Kong for you for eternity, so.
I was very lucky to have a grandma who she didn't really know about games. She just kind of was like whatever. And so she always bought us games and everything because she just didn't even realize that like people were concerned about them. She was just like, I just know the kids like them. But my parents were never really that weird about it.
Yeah, my parents were just kind of weird about like TV in general.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a instructor for a place called Knowles. It's a National Outdoor Leadership School, and so he took people out in the woods and taught them how to not die. So obviously, going outside and doing that kind of stuff was really big in our household.
I don't know how to use the special power that I would.
Oh, I think you just press B.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
You are welcome.
It was just B.
So, the Donkey Kong games. Donkey Kong was big for you then.
Yes.
Did you really like the games, or was it just kind of
yes and no. So I grew up not knowing that I had issues with depth perception, and so jumping in games was a problem, and so Donkey Kong was a very hard game for me to do.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, gosh.
It's a kind of hard game, though.
Yeah, they're hard games just in general.
I think like the second level took me like 2 weeks to get through when I was a kid, but it was just like this one jump. I just kept falling.
So, like, did you ever own any other game systems? Like,
not until I moved out, honestly. And then,
yeah.
Should we do some jungle japes just for Donkey Kong's sake?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You don't want to don't land in the river, because the river will just wipe you off screen.
Okay. Good to know.
In honor of Donkey Kong, I'm going to do D.
Yeah.
The third game, I loved the third game.
That was probably my favorite.
But all of them are so good. So when you ended up moving out, like what games did you kind of gravitate towards?
So we did a lot of LAN parties with how do I get up?
What is going on?
What is going on?
For some reason, like,
I'm just like stuck.
I have no idea what's happening.
Can anyone else like do anything?
I can't.
Oh, what? Something happened.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Now it's
Okay.
working. I have no. That literally has never happened to me on anything ever. So you do.
Why am I not moving? Huh.
So now it's happening to you. But I wonder if
Here, I can.
we're getting some microwave feedback from the
Yeah. I don't
Bluetooth
know.
or something.
No contest.
Weird. Are you? Is your controller like lit up on the bottom?
No.
Okay. Or yeah,
Oh,
it
it
is.
is. Okay.
Okay, should work now. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Let's try this again. Maybe we got cursed. So LAN party. So like before we started playing, I know you said like you were doing like Halo.
Yeah, we did we'd get like 20 people in our house and just play Halo all night.
Yeah.
So, and now I mostly just play solitary games.
Solitary games like Solitaire, or
No. I play a lot of Uncharted, God of War. Like, I really like the new ones.
the God of War Ragnarok is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And I play World War Z with my kids. We shoot zombies together. So.
How old are your kids? Would you say?
8, 10, 14, and 16.
Lots of kiddos.
16. That's a pretty good squad, though.
Yeah.
Like, you can really take that to some zombie territories. You wait on me. Apologies.
No, it's okay. Do you like, are games a part of your household then, or?
Yeah. My oldest is very much into games. He has this like old free laptop, and he's always like trying to run Steam games that he probably can't run on it.
I know that struggle.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Because I had all 3 Witcher games that would not work on my old laptop.
Oh, yeah. I tried playing the 3rd, and then I just got busy with school, and then I never.
You grabbed my peanut.
No.
So, like, is there a specific... So you said you like solitaire games. Do you like mostly, like, RPG, kind of, like, single-player RPG games, or...?
I like kind of, like, more fast-paced, like, shooter action type. I do like RPG-based games, but I'm usually just too busy to, like, get into them. And then I'll come back, and I'm like, what am I doing? Do I have to restart the whole thing to understand it?
I hate that.
That's totally understandable if you have 4 kids to worry about. Like, that just adds a whole nother level of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And school. Just...
Oop, there we go.
But on break, I try to play at least one new game and get in and have some fun.
Was Ragnarok kind of like your winter break game?
Oh, yes. I think I played through it twice.
Oh, nice.
High praise, then. Take it.
Yeah, well, I started playing them back when, like, the first one came out.
Shoot.
So
you had, like, the PS2 and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's
PS3.
PS3.
Yeah. Those were the ones that I played. I haven't played any of the new iterations of God of War.
I really like the new ones.
I really like how they, like, went with the story in the new ones.
And it's so fun, too. Like, I just love mythology, just in general. Like, I just think it's fun. And they do a really good job with, like, the Norse mythology stuff. I especially like Freya in the second one. Like, I think they do a very good job with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I just enjoyed how they took his whole shtick and turned it on its head.
Yeah.
In the later ones.
Do you mostly do like video games then, or do you like board games? Like, did you ever get into that kind of stuff?
We do some tabletop stuff in my house. We play a lot of Munchkins with the kids.
Awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
So,
oh my! And like, there's so many expansions to Munchkin, so many versions of Munchkin.
I know. we play a weird version because the little one is still quite not into all of the rules, and so it's a very basic. Like, sure, you can have 5 things for your head.
And do you like do your kids do any like real life, not real life, like, do they do like games, sports, like that kind of thing? Is that another big part, or is it mostly kind of just like the
No, tabletops are video games. We're not really sports. Like my kids have like gotten into it a little bit here and there, but it's never really stuck. They're just like meh. And the pandemic really,
For sure.
like, took that kind of out of our, like, what we were doing.
Yeah, I can imagine. I guess I have to imagine. I'm sure there's stories all over the place of like students in high school missing out on these experiences of junior high or.
Yeah.
Kind of nuts to think about.
And, like, in our area, like, the schools didn't actually close down, and they didn't go virtual. But
okay.
we went virtual.
Sure.
Because, my daughter was actually immunocompromised when, like, COVID hit.
Oh, wow.
So we had to, like, be hermits for a few years.
That's tough. I mean, that's tough for anybody, but for, like, a kid especially, like, ooh, that's
sure.
gotta be hard.
It was not the easiest time. And that's when I found out that I don't like teaching, because I was essentially homeschooling my kids while I was finishing my bachelor's. Although the pandemic did work out for me because I was already online for a UWM for my bachelor's.
Oh, that's nice.
So I actually had way more options.
Ooh. Ah.
Shake, David.
Never. So, for your like household then, is it like consoles? Is it
Yeah,
TV? Like
we just have PS5. We have PS5. So. The PS5 is the new edition.
You're able to get one.
Yeah, it worked out randomly, and we're like, yes.
It is ordained. So is it like the family's PS5 then? Like it's in the living room and like everybody sort of has to go
Yeah. Yeah, it everyone has to like schedule their time essentially, which is I think why my oldest is more into using his laptop for games, because then he can play games that his siblings may not necessarily should be able to play.
Right. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid and like one of my friend's brothers was playing GTA, like the original, and we were like, oh my god, this is so like, we shouldn't be watching this. I was 4 at the time, so I probably shouldn't have been watching it, but.
My husband convinced his mom to let him buy Grand Theft Auto Vice City when like he was like 14. 15, like with his like first paycheck, and she was like very religious. But he's like, oh, so and so has it, so and she's like, okay.
Oops. I wanted the smash ball.
I died a horrible death really early. Wii Fit trainer was not easy to play. I had no idea what I was doing.
So I'm just checking time. Okay, so we're about on time. Yeah. So like questions, then we'll shift over to like the research stuff.
Yeah.
So so you said you were doing like the MLIS, library sciences. So like talk a little bit more just about like what you do, what you're interested in. So
with library science, you can take a couple different tracks. You can do like library stuff, you can do archival, and then there's more like tech focused. And so I'm doing archival focused. I'm really interested in like community archives. So like people in a community that like build their own archives and run it, and it's, I think, a really good way of like addressing those like silences that you get from traditional archives where they're like, well, this isn't that important, or we don't want to remember this. So I haven't gotten too much into my schoolwork. with that, I've been focusing mostly on the history portion. It is a bit much to jump between the two.
So I'm curious about the people, I guess, who create these archives. I mean, they're just people who've decided to start like just collecting things and like sort of unofficially over time grow an archive.
Yeah. So they you see it actually a lot with like minority communities. So they'll go and they'll be like, hey, we want to remember these things from our community. You see it a lot of like queer archives. So like the GLBT archive in San Francisco that was started as a community archive project during AIDS epidemic. So because they were just back at the time, like archives were more like, we're going to focus on important people and big things and the big history type of stuff. And so it's more like local history.
So I guess I'm curious. Is this like I know this is sort of tertiary to your interests, but like I'm fascinated by this idea of sort of a collective community archive. Are they funded in any way? Does someone like is someone in charge of running it? Or
a lot of them are volunteer led, and so like it's kind of a community archive. You can think about it. There's one, it's like the Queer Zion Archive, and I think it's run out of Milwaukee. And it's volunteer led, because I was actually looking at an internship there at some point.
Almost like a non-profit kind of organization.
Yeah, and it's like someone's running this digital archive for the computer out of my house.
Okay, yeah. So it is sort of just like this really interesting mix of like almost amateur and like the real sense of the word, non-professional, but
yeah,
also,
and
like,
then
really important and like the one, not just sort of my archive, but the archive. Interesting. So, sorry to take us down.
Oh,
No.
I was
This
just
is
really trying to
great.
get a really good idea because it's a fascinating, just a concept. So, and then you sort of your research is then is in helping these people to better organize, to better.
So I haven't quite gotten into that part.
Sorry.
'Cause I'm mostly focusing on like the public history part, and so I've been looking into just kind of how public memorialization happens, so that it kind of dovetails with like my interest in community archives, and just like how people like in queer spaces memorialize events and people. And that actually started with a paper I did my first year on Matthew Shepard.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up in Wyoming, and I was 11 when the attack happened, and that like kind of coincided with like my own, realizations about my sexuality, and I was like, so it was a really, really impactful. And then I was like, oh, public history, this is something that's very relevant to my life. I'll do. And then there wasn't really a lot of historical scholarship on it, and I was a little upset.
Cool. That's awesome. That's amazing. I mean, yeah. So, like the Laramie Project is a perfect example of this kind of thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you. That really helps me wrap my head around it.
So yeah, that's public memorialization. It's like
Sure.
amateur public history. They went and they did oral histories with people from the community, and created 2 plays out of it because they did a follow-up. It was like a 10-year retrospective.
Cool. Awesome.
So like you're interested both in terms of like physical archives and then also some more like the digital ones
kind of
too.
like with the physical archive, it's kind of that like how do people remember those things? How is that access given to community members? You know, like there's the term archival silence, and like you can have material on a subject, but because it wasn't archived in a way where you can search for that subject, it's just kind of lost.
Sure.
And then you're like digging through thousands of documents. The digital aspect of archives is really changed that, but then you have issues on like, should I give access to this?
Yeah, because like I haven't read a lot about archives, but I have read a little bit, right? And like forgetting is like it's political act in its own way, right? So yeah, it's interesting that you were talking about archives because I wrote about Smash Brothers in archives.
Really?
Because for one of my classes, we read Derrida's like archive stuff, and so I talked about this game in relationship to it, and specifically about how like Nintendo, specifically like the single player mode in this game, like constructs an archive about like what matters in video game history and like how it like is economically beneficial for them to like center themselves within games history. Like obviously like historically they are very much a part of it, but then like but like
it's continuing that process of legitimation.
Yeah, so
Based on that,
yeah, so like thinking about like how this game like positions itself as an archive almost, because like they literally say like everyone's here, like that's the catchphrase is everyone is here for this game, right? So like,
and it's the ultimate, right?
yeah, and this is the game with like the most series crossover with non-Nintendo franchises and all that stuff too. And, yeah, so
PS5 has a game that's built into it. The little robot, I can't remember
Yeah,
his name.
yeah.
It's
My
very
daughter
much
really
like
likes that.
But like you collect like little trophies of PlayStation consoles.
Oh.
Yeah, and like controller, like all like the hardware and stuff. And you're like, when was this released?
I need the title for that.
It's built in. It's really like a great introduction to its PS5 controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I can't. The little rope.
It's
little
like the
Astros.
Playroom. Or,
Yep. Astro's Playroom. I think we got there.
Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why I kept putting little that in there.
No, it's okay.
I wanted to see little Astro.
Have you ever played Persona?
I have not.
Oh, it's 90 hours, so it probably won't. But the guy I'm playing as, Joker, he's from Persona, and that was like the Showtime screen when you like defeat an enemy. That's what shows. I love Persona. Anyway. But you said you got your bachelor's here too, right?
Yes.
So what'd you get your bachelor's?
I got a dual bachelor's in history and Hebrew studies.
Ooh, cool.
So they actually have they offer Hebrew here online as a foreign language, and there's a lot of online history courses on like Jewish history and the Holocaust and stuff like that. So.
And there's lots of good resources about that here too.
Yeah. I've taken quite a few classes with Lisa Silverman on Jewish history and the Holocaust.
I don't know. That's good. That was nicely done.
I love Smash. I've played all of them. I own all of them except for the Wii U one.
Oh yeah, because
We don't talk about the
would
Wii
you
U.
play on?
So, are you interested at all in terms of? I mean, this is just one of the questions we have, so you can say no if you want. But in terms of what you're interested in, have you done research about games, or kind of play more generally, or kind of encountered that at all in your research?
Not really. I tend to. It's kind of the opposite of Although that is an interesting think that to like look into. Like I never really considered looking into play too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just at the Field Museum in Chicago, because I was there for a conference last weekend, and they had a new.
Congrats on the talk, by the way.
Thank you.
I meant to say that. But
Thank you. Okay. And they had like a new Indigenous exhibit because obviously there's lots of things just in general in terms of like colonialism and museum stuff. And they had a game there called Never Alone, which is kind of like a really well-known Indigenous-made game. And so that just made me think about like museums and play and that kind of thing.
That's interesting. I hadn't heard that they incorporated that. Field Museum's kind of on my radar because I know they own a lot of, or they have a lot of artifacts from a reservation that I grew up near. And there was a documentary actually on a PBS that someone I grew up with was a part of. They actually went to the Field Museum and they went through their storage with some people.
Who's Pac-Man?
Me.
Don't bully Ganondorf.
Uh-oh. I love Pac-Man. He's cute. When I was a kid, we didn't have Pac-Man, the game, like the arcade game. There was a console version of it. We didn't have that one. But there were like these like action not RPGs, but they were these like adventure games.
Pac-Man Adventures?
Yeah.
Maybe is what they're called?
Yeah, and we had
were
the
like
second
3D
one.
games, right?
Yeah.
Let's see this too.
Yeah. Isn't there a thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think my kids watched it at one point.
I definitely remember. A cartoon. Because he has legs, like he's a whole, he's a whole thing. Well, I mean, yeah, like he is there.
Yeah.
But maybe not quite as well designed.
Has Mario ever been a part of your gaming experience?
A little bit. I had friends that had Mario. But I never played a lot.
So, sort of back to the question about how play fits into your education, I'm curious if you've ever sort of thought about the way, like we were talking about games being sort of these digital, virtual museums. Mm-hmm. Does any of the work that you've done or seen in, these digital archives even sort of approach looking or behaving in some way like a game? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of like almost virtual sort of embodied spaces, virtual spaces that
Are you talking about like virtual spaces you can kind of interact with?
Well, right. So, like, in to access a digital database of whatever, it being sort of an interface like a video game instead of just like a Windows.
Yeah, there's certain like they've done archival stuff with like giving access to like someone's like old computer and they emulate it and you have access through it on like an online portal.
Super cool.
You can kind of go through how they had everything and where everything was saved. And
do you know the? Can you give an example of that particular?
Oh my
thing
gosh, we had read a couple
that
case studies
right?
in a course last semester, and I cannot remember, but I can get it to you later. I have it.
There are a couple of games that are literally that.
They really are. Yeah, they are.
Like Her Story. I loved Her Story, and that's very similar. Where you just you literally just type in keywords to the database, and then you like find a database of videos to figure out the narrative. Yeah.
That's so anyway, sorry, that sort of took it off in the direction, but I'm just curious, if that is something that you see a lot in your work, or if that's sort of a novel, sort of almost like side thing.
I would say probably more novel side.
Yeah, like when it happens, it's
because,
amazing, but there's not a push to do that.
It takes a lot of resources and time.
For sure.
And places like museums and archives don't have a lot of those.
Don't have either.
Do you feel like it is maybe, I mean, is there any interest in it that you gather from what you've done in the field? And like,
I think so.
What work is out? Or is it just sort of like
there's a bigger
not
push
for
to like, kind of get a better handle on like digital archival practices and setting up best practices and dealing with the issues that come up out of them. But, yeah, I haven't really like delved too much into that, so.
That's totally fine. Yeah, I think
it was just a weird thought I had.
Yeah, I think something that I've just encountered because not that it's super like similar, but I did work as a research assistant at a library at UW Eau Claire for a little bit, and I was a student there, and like especially a lot of like the higher ups are just a little older, and so it's like the knowledge of like what constitutes like digital, like what digitality is like sometimes a little more difficult to understand because they didn't grow up with it. So yeah,
true.
That can be really hard, I think.
And you know, there's that, like, you know, the technology creep, and then you're like, wait, how are we handling this? Like, all of our stuff coming in is digital. How do you deal with, like, the obsolescence or storage or access?
For sure.
Oops. I just jumped on you.
Work as a research assistant in a laboratory for electronic literature. So, like, it's not all that different than video games, just more text-based, you know? And sort of a bigger scene in the late 80s, early 90s. So lots of, like, you know, floppy disks of various sizes. But preservation is particularly weird with born digital artifacts too, because you have to have, you know, not only the text but the machine to run it on. So think about this lab with tons of
different eras. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, before too long, all of these things are going to be digital artifacts and archives, at least in large part.
Yeah, and I actually find myself working a lot, just like kind of my own research with, you know, like archive, like web pages and like all that kind of stuff. I actually do a lot of work with ACT UP New York. Actually has an archive of their old web page.
Oh, cool.
So,
awesome.
They did some Matthew Shepard memorialization that's like still on there. So,
yeah,
poke around a lot there.
Do you like the Wayback Machine and all that stuff too?
Yep. Because you're like, okay, so I'm trying to like look at the stuff from like the 90s. Half of those websites don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just...
That is totally okay. Let's bring it on back. Do you do archival stuff here?
No. I am working extremely part-time at Spaces Archive in Kohler, Wisconsin. So they document art environments. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's been interesting. I just started there this month. Been helping them get ready for a move and establish some like policies and stuff.
No, I'm literally just like, I haven't played Incineroar in years, so I'm just gonna try him out and see what happens.
I just keep picking random people. I'm like, man, the .com.
Do you have a favorite?
No, I haven't like played enough to like really have a favorite, but having to remind myself that jump is in a different spot.
That was giving me so much. Like, probably half the time we play.
But I tend to not like pick too many favorites in these kinds of games. I like to.
You don't like get set in the meta.
Yeah.
Well, when you have like 80 different options.
Right.
No! I went the wrong way.
Do my bidding.
Ooh! Ice Punch, I forgot he does Ice Punch too. I like how I'm a fire type Pokemon, but the fire flower can still set me on fire. So, what do you do for C21 then?
So I am their social media program.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
So I social media posting, email updates, edit a podcast.
Dang.
I help like Eventbrite, Facebook events, pages, current, the calendars, and stuff. So mostly communicating what C21 is doing with everyone else.
Nice. Including us?
Yes, including you.
So, is this your first year working for them then?
Yes. Yeah. It was actually like kind of a last minute appointment. So,
That was
really
me, I'm
excited.
sorry.
No, it's alright. I'm not very good at Mr. Game & Watch. For this game,
So, like, for the C21 stuff then, are there things, like, you said it was kind of a last minute. Was
Yeah.
it just like, oh, I saw it randomly, or like...
Well, I was a runner up, and then someone else had something come up, and in August they were like, are you still interested?" And I was like, "Yes."
I love money.
hell yeah.
I love getting paid.
Yes.
That's
And they're
awesome.
doing a lot of cool stuff. So
Yeah, like, what are some of the things y'all did in last semester?
last semester, so we finished up the When We Know More symposia. So round table talk. We had the art gallery, so I did a lot of promotion of that on social media. We started our grad student events that we hold monthly now. Yeah, and we do a lot of just partnerships with people on campus, so like humanities departments and stuff.
Cool stuff. And with the... It's like a donut thing, right?
Yes, the
student-
Donut Forget.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah, it used to be Bagel Hour way back when.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The donuts.
We still get asked about Bagel Hour,
Oh, I'm
actually. But
That
then
was-
we couldn't have
That was like one of the things that when I first arrived to the English department, and it was the pandemic, and people were like, "We don't know when Bagel Hour will be coming back," and we're so sad about it. Because especially in the English department, we had like every first year student who's teaching, or every first like teacher, it's their first year teaching. They had a class on Friday mornings about teaching the class, and so they would just like pop up here for a bagel and then go back down to class.
Yeah, I hear that it was really popular. Actually, I think in my office I might have the cards for the guy who supplied the donuts. Or not the donuts, the bagels.
I've really not played as much as Bayonetta before.
This is the first time David and I have actually played on the stream. I'm trying to do this interview, and it's much harder. I keep realizing that I haven't said anything in moments.
I think I'm a little more used to it because like back in 2017 or something, a friend and I did a little YouTube channel together where we did parties and things. So. And also, I grew up in the Midwest with a super talkative family, youngest of 4 children, and then plus my 2 parents, and everybody just talked their heads off all the time. So. gun together. Because it's like if you collect all 3 pieces, then you get like this big. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Dodge that.
Are there like specific events this semester that you're excited about, or?
Yeah. So we have our first Nourishing Trust roundtable talk coming up, actually on Thursday. So.
And we'll be streaming it here too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just more exposure. Always a good thing.
But it looks really interesting, and I'm a little sad.
Oh.
But we do the recordings and stuff, so we'll be able to
Catch it later.
catch it.
I have something even worse. I have a graduate policy committee meeting.
Oh.
Oh, my little Alolan Raichu. Surge Circle. Had you before you started working here, did you know about C21, attend stuff, or was it just kind of I see this thing? And...
I didn't know about it until I saw the job listing actually last year. But to be fair, I did not know too much about campus since I did my bachelor 100% online. I never came to campus, so.
It's sort of hidden up here in Curtin. And Curtin is not the most inviting
There's a reason that it's called Brutalist.
Yeah.
It's like the...
We've got about 10 minutes left, and you have class at 4, so we can end a couple minutes early too.
Yeah,
but I wanna. This will be a really silly question. What's your favorite game? Favorite game?
One I always go back to is probably
Donkey Kong Country 2.
no. Probably the second Uncharted. Probably
Nice.
the one I play the most.
Awesome. Yeah.
And go back to.
What about it sort of makes it that comfort?
I don't know if it's when I played it and
I see. Yeah.
or if it's just because sometimes I get really bad at it. So, I'm why aren't the controls better?
That's the one where you crawl up the crashed train or plane, right?
Yeah, and you're in the Himalayas.
That's my favorite Uncharted as well.
I was gonna say I've never played an Uncharted game. So I was always a Nintendo kid.
Always. Even now?
Well, now I have my first non-Nintendo system I got was the PS4.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And that's where we got it with
The
new Uncharted, the number 4.
Yeah, my partner Tony, he plays them, so I watch him play them sometimes. But I'm I don't.
I like the adventure puzzle part, and just the ridiculous climbing.
Did you see the movie?
I did. I was oh wow, they incorporated this and this, but at the same time, I wasn't entirely too skilled with Goldberg.
That's what I heard.
Right. Who has ever fielded Mark Wahlberg?
Well, especially because Sully's supposed to be in his, an older guy in his 60s, right?
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be younger Sully, but he just doesn't have the right personality for it.
I thought it was so funny how in the beginning it's when I think it's from the third game where all of the luggage or all the cargo is falling out of the plane, right? And when he jumped like all the cargo was like hanging outside the plane, and then he somehow managed to jump vertically up from one to the next. I'm like, okay, this is just a stupid thing, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like no semblance of reality here.
Yeah, definitely. I think I really like got into them too because like the first one was kind of ridiculous because you're just like, oh, this is going to be just adventure, treasure hunt kind of Warcraft type game, and then they like throw weird supernatural stuff at you at the end, and you're like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why am I now fighting Nazi zombies?
I played, there was, I forget which one, it was like either Rise of the Tomb Raider or something like that. I played one of the newer ones. I actually really liked it.
Yeah. I've played 2 or 3 more ones.
They had terrible titles though, because I don't know.
Yeah, it was like
I
the
don't
one
think it
just
was
like
Shadow.
Tomb Raider, and then there's Shadow and Rise.
Yeah.
I played the one that was
Rise
like,
isn't the first one, maybe, right?
I forget. I played the one that was like, she was like in the Russian
Okay, yeah, the second
wilderness.
one.
Yeah, like the ice and everything.
Okay.
I played that one. I liked it.
Yeah.
There was a Baba Yaga randomly.
Okay.
Just like this old lady who pretended to be the Baba Yaga. I'm like, okay. How about one more?
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Uh,
custom. These are like custom maps that you can download.
cool.
Let's do. I don't know. Let's do this one. Banjo Kazooie.
Okay.
Love Banjo Kazooie.
Start battle! Banjo and Kazooie!
I had in my mind who I wanted to be, and now I forgot.
Pokemon Trainer!
Olimar is right above Pac-Man. Yeah. Did you see the new Pikmin 4 trailer?
I'm so good about that. I had a really good time with Pikmin 3. I played the
I didn't
Switch
play
port or whatever. It was nice.
Looks very
It's fun.
cute.
3, 2, 1, go!
I'll play 4 and play it on easy.
I like how when you play as like Pokemon trainer, you can see him like floating in the background. It's very
I
cute.
was not expecting.
And if you hit down B, then you can change to like Squirtle or Charizard.
Okay.
Oop. Oh goodness.
I have no idea what I just did.
That's a Pokemon. Giratina, it's literally in Pokemon lore, it's literally the devil.
Oh,
kidding.
okay. Oh, and then I just fell off.
You should be able to attack.
Knock him off the perch. Oh.
My trainer's very sad with me.
Oh, he's crying. Poor Red.
Yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon in my house with my kids.
Did they play the new one?
No. No. But my youngest son, the one who's 10, has kind of a encyclopedic knowledge of Pokemon, but now he's moved on to Naruto, so
Ooh.
he has a lot of material to work with there. Entertainment for years.
Just wait till he gets into One Piece. Then he'll have decades of materials.
Right.
I was a big Pokemon kid, and I'm a big Pokemon person now. I love Pokemon. It's so fun. Uh-oh.
Wow, I didn't. It was on my
got the spicy curry. Oh, you have to hit down B to pick them. Yeah. Oh, you got the chunky one. Ow! Ow! Shoot, shoot, shoot. Yay! Okay, well, it's 3:57, so we should probably be packing up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. This has been fun. This is really great. I love playing Smash and just getting to know more about everybody involved here at C21. We currently do not have anyone signed up for next week. So
Okay.
we'll see. We may or may not be doing this next week. I might ask Ren to just pop on by. But yeah, for sure. On Thursday this week at 1 p.m. Central Time, we'll be hosting the Nourishing Trust series. I forget what the roundtable on Thursday is called, if you remember.
Trust in Theory.
Trust in Theory.
Or no, Trust in Context, sorry.
Okay, Trust in
Context.
Context. Yeah.
Trust in Theory.
It'll be roundtable, Zoom. We're going to be streaming it to our platform. So keep an eye on that, and we'll see you next Tuesday for lunch.